Welcome to People, Power, and Politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's People, Power, and Politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.
Now I have news flash for Republicans in Texas. This is no longer the Wild West. We're not going to tolerate our democracy being stolen in a modern-day stagecoach hoist by a bunch of law-breaking cowboys. Americans don't want a system that's stacked against them. They believe in fairness. It's fundamental. And I'll tell you this, they're done with the chaos. They're done with the cruelty. And I would say they're ready to vote Republicans out of power in Washington, certainly in the upcoming 2026 elections. Republicans know this. They've seen the polls. They know they're sliding downhill because Americans are rejecting their policies. So this is why they're fighting. They know they'll lose the elections, but to subvert the will of the people, they're hell-bent on rigging the system. Rigging the system is un-American. All's fair in love and war. That's why I'm exploring with our leaders every option to redraw our state congressional lines as soon as possible. Our state legislative leaders, Carol Heastie, Majority Leader Andre Stewart Cousins, they're on board, as are their members. We're already working on a legislative process, reviewing our legal strategies, and we'll do everything in our power to stop this brazen assault.
Kathy Hochul takes aim at Texas redistricting plan, vows to fight fire with fire. With House control on the line in 2026, Hochul signals she'll redraw maps to blunt GOP gains from Texas to Florida. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is stepping to the front lines of America's latest political map war, vowing to counter Texas Republicans' mid-decade redistricting push with an aggressive redraw of New York's congressional districts. This is a war, Hochul declared alongside Texas Democratic lawmakers who fled their state to block the GOP's maps. The people of New York will not stand by while our voices are diminished. What gerrymandering is, and why it matters. At its core, gerrymandering is the practice of drawing electoral district boundaries to benefit one political party over another. The name comes from a combination of Massachusetts Governor Elbridge Gerry's name and the word salamander, after an 1812 district map that twisted and turned in unnatural shapes to ensure partisan advantage. While redistricting is a normal process that occurs every 10 years after the U.S. Census, partisan gerrymandering manipulates those boundaries to concentrate the opposing party's voters into a few districts, packing, spread them thinly across many districts to dilute their influence, cracking. The result? A party can win a disproportionate number of seats even without winning the majority of votes statewide. Texas sparks the fight. Texas Republicans, backed by former President Donald Trump, have introduced a rare mid-decade redistricting plan projected to net the GOP up to 5 additional U.S. House seats ahead of the 2026 midterms. Their proposal targets competitive and Democratic-held districts, especially in the state's growing metropolitan areas. Democrats in the Texas House staged a dramatic walkout, leaving the state to deny a quorum and block the vote. Texas Governor Greg Abbott vowed to keep lawmakers in session as long as it takes and authorize law enforcement to bring them back. Attorney General Ken Paxton has moved to expel some of the absent members altogether. Hochul draws a line. Rather than issue statements of support, Hochul pledged to take tangible action. She announced that New York will explore every option to redraw its congressional districts as soon as possible to offset any Republican advantage created in Texas. This could potentially shift the balance of power in Congress, making it a significant move in the ongoing political battle. Her plan would likely target swing districts in upstate New York and Long Island that Republicans flipped in recent elections to secure Democratic majorities for years to come. Blue states joined the counteroffensive. Hochul's declaration aligns her with other Democratic governors preparing to retaliate. California Governor Gavin Newsom has floated changes to California's Independent Redistricting Commission to allow for a partisan redraw if Republican states proceed with their plans. Illinois and Maryland leaders are reportedly weighing similar measures. This coordinated approach marks the emergence of the redistricting arms race, where one party's move in a single state triggers immediate partisan map changes in others. This could lead to a continuous cycle of redistricting, further polarizing the political landscape and potentially undermining the democratic process. Republican states double down. Meanwhile, GOP-controlled states such as Florida, Indiana, and Missouri are considering their mid-decade redraws. These could dismantle competitive districts and further cement Republican control of their congressional delegations. If these states follow Texas's lead, Democrats may face severe disadvantages in the 2026 House elections, even if they win more total votes nationwide. This could lead to a situation where the party that wins the popular vote may not necessarily win the majority of seats in the House, highlighting the potential impact of the redistricting arms race on the 2026 elections. What's at stake for 2026 and beyond? The battle over gerrymandering in 2025 is not just a political skirmish. It's a fight over the long-term balance of power in Congress. A few key points underscore what's at stake. 1. Control of the U.S. House. With the chamber often decided by fewer than a dozen seats, even a handful of gerrymandered gains could lock in majority control for one party. 2. Representation of minority communities. Civil rights groups warn that some proposed maps, especially in Texas, could dilute the voting power of Latino and Black communities, violating the Voting Rights Act. 3. Public trust in elections. Extreme gerrymandering can undermine confidence in democracy, making voters feel their ballots carry less weight. 4. Precedent for mid-decade redistricting. If this becomes standard practice, redistricting could shift from a once-a-decade process to a continuous partisan weapon. For Hochul and her allies, the calculation is simple. If Democrats don't fight back now, they risk ceding control of Congress for years. For Abbott and other Republicans, the stakes are equally high, securing durable majorities even in politically competitive states. As Hochul put it, Texas has fired the first shot. We will respond in kind. With blue and red states both ready to redraw, the 2026 elections may be shaped less by who votes and more by where those voters happen to live.
People, power, and politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's people, power, and politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.